In Book 6 of his Meditations, Marcus Aurelius wrote a line that most people read past without understanding its weight. The best revenge, he wrote, is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Read it again. Not to win the argument. Not to expose them. Not to make them regret it. To be unlike them. To refuse the contagion. The Stoics understood something we have forgotten, that every response is a transaction. When a person attacks you and you defend, explain, or retaliate, you have agreed to play their game on their terms. You have handed them your nervous system. Epictetus said it bluntly in the Enchiridion, it is not the things themselves that disturb people, but their judgments about those things. The insult has no power until you grant it power by responding. The Stoic principle of non-response is not passivity. It is not weakness. It is the recognition that your inner citadel, what Marcus called the hegemonicon, the ruling part of the mind, must never be surrendered to a person who has not earned access to it. When someone provokes you and you respond emotionally, you have given a stranger the keys to your house. The rule of non-response is the refusal to hand over the keys. But here is what nobody tells you about this principle: Marcus did not teach it as a way to avoid conflict. He taught it as a way to win something far more valuable than any argument. If this is landing, save this video. You will want to come back to this the next time someone tries to pull you into something you know is beneath you. Consider what Marcus Aurelius actually faced. He ruled Rome from 161 to 180 AD. He was the absolute authority of the known world. A single word from him could destroy a man's career, his fortune, his life. And yet his meditations are filled with passages about people who insulted him, slandered him, betrayed him, and his repeated, almost obsessive instruction to himself was the same. Do not respond from the wound. In Book 5, he writes a kind of morning meditation. When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. And then immediately, I shall meet today inquisitive, ungrateful, violent, treacherous, envious, uncharitable men. He does not say he will fight them. He does not say he will lecture them. He says he will recognize that they act this way because they do not know good from evil, and that his task is to remain himself. There is a story about Cato the Younger, the Stoic hero Marcus deeply admired. A man spat in his face in the Roman Forum. Cato simply wiped it off and said, I will swear to anyone, Lentulus, that people are wrong to say that you cannot use your mouth. No anger. No retaliation. No wounded pride. Just a calm refusal to be moved. And Seneca, in his letters, gave the principle its sharpest form. The greatest remedy for anger, he wrote into ira, is delay. Not denial. Not suppression. Delay. The space between stimulus and response is where your freedom lives. Most people collapse that space into nothing, they react in the same breath they are provoked. The Stoic expands it. The Stoic puts an entire silent hour, an entire day, an entire week, into that gap. And in that silence, something extraordinary happens. The provocation loses its grip. The need to defend evaporates. You realize you were never insulted, you were tested. And you can pass the test by simply not entering it. Now bring this into your actual life. The coworker who passive-aggressively undermines you in the meeting. The family member who knows exactly which sentence will get under your skin. The stranger online who writes something cruel beneath your post. The ex who sends the message designed to pull you back into the old fight. In every one of these moments, you faced the same choice Marcus faced. Respond and lose. Or remain silent, return to your work, and keep the keys to your own mind. Here is the practice. 3 steps. First, the pause. Seneca's delay. The moment you feel the heat rise in your chest. You do nothing. You breathe. You count to 10 if you must. You acknowledge the feeling without acting on it. The feeling is data. The response is choice. Second, the question. Ask yourself what Marcus asked himself constantly in the Meditations. Is this in my control? The other person's behavior, not in your control. Their opinion of you, not in your control. Your response, entirely in your control. The moment you remember this, the urgency dissolves. Third, the return. This is the part most people miss. Non-response is not just not responding. It is actively returning to what matters. Marcus would acknowledge the provocation, refuse it, and immediately go back to his duty, writing, governing, studying, raising his children. The silence is filled with purpose, not resentment. Try this for the next 7 days. When provoked, do not reply for at least 1 hour. In that hour, return to whatever good work was already in front of you. Watch what happens. Most provocations die in that hour. The ones that survive, you can answer from clarity rather than wound. Drop in the comments, what is the one situation in your life right now where you know silence would serve you better than a response? Be specific. Other people need to read it. CTA, 12 to 13 minutes. If this changed how you see the people who provoke you, subscribe and hit the bell icon. Daily Stoic wisdom from Marcus, Seneca, and Epictetus, the kind that builds an unshakable mind one practice at a time. Follow if you are rebuilding your discipline. But that is only half the story. The next part is where most people get this completely wrong. OUTRO, 13 to 15 minutes. One final thought from Marcus. In Book 8 he writes, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The rule of non-response is not about the other person. It never was. It is about who you become in the silence. Today, choose one person, one situation, one provocation, and practice the delay. 1 hour of silence. See what dies. See what remains. If this hit, my video on Epictetus and the dichotomy of control will make even more sense now. It is the foundation everything we just discussed is built on. Watch that next. Midnight the rule Marcus never broke. 0:45 The Stoic foundation of silence. 3 o'clock how Marcus and Cato actually lived this. 6 o'clock the 3-step practice. 12 o'clock subscribe for daily Stoic wisdom. 1300 hours your challenge today.